and welcome to another episode of the Healthy Home Show podcast. Today, I've got a really kind of special guest with me. Her name is Nikki, and she's from Nicola D Interiors. And what I love about what Nikki does is she really focuses on biophilic design and color psychology within her interior design, which I just think is a really innovative approach to interiors. And so I really wanted to get her on and learn a bit more about her business and whatever kind of like brought you to use the kind of concepts of biophilic design and color therapy in your work. So hi, Nikki. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you could start with just a little bit about your background and your business, and also, as I just mentioned, what brought you into kind of focusing a bit more on biophilic design and color therapy.
Sure. Hi, Charlie, and thanks for inviting me to the podcast. And hello, everyone. Yes, what brought me to biophilic design? I'm a career changer. I started my career as a project manager, and but my passion has always been architecture, interiors. I'm Italian. I was born in Italy, so I was surrounded by beautiful architecture and design anyway. So it's always been my passion. And after years of working for the corporate, I think before I hit the big 40, I was like, I need to do something meaningful in my life. And that meant a change career. So I retrained as interior designer, and I did set up my business just before COVID. So not the best time. But here I am. Anyway, I'm still alive as a business. And I think it was the best decision ever, because I finally do a job that it doesn't feel like a job, because it's my passion. And I came across biophilic design. It was a case, to be honest. I remember I was at the design center in Chelsea. It was during this period, I think, where there is a lot of interior design fair in London. And there was actually a tutor from the school where I studied that was talking about biophilic design. So I sat there and I started listening. I watching these lovely images, and something really clicked, because I really resonate with what she was saying. Because I grew up in the south of Italy, in Puglia, which is the hill of the boot, and my parents' family house is between olive trees. So I always been in contact with nature. And when I moved to the UK, I felt like I was missing something, because obviously the weather conditions are different. It's colder, so we used to spend less and less time outdoor. But luckily, at some point, we decided to take a dog, and he brought me outdoor. So start walking, and then is when something clicked. Also, it was my personal experience, because I had a job in London where the office was underground, and that meant we were not exposed to natural light. We had no windows. It drove me insane, completely insane. That affect me. And no kidding, I said to my husband, I need to do something. I just can't be there anymore. And that's when I decided to change career. And really was depressed. And that was something really affect me, like my life. And quit the job. And I was like, I need to do something about my own, mental health. And that's when I find out that connecting with nature was helpful. And everything, it was like a puzzle. Everything like came at the right time. Discovering biophilic design, changing career, my mental health, everything like felt like was happening. It was hard at the time, but now I see the point of it. And that's when I discovered biophilic design. I started like doing research and read a lot about it. And then finally there was a course I took. So I became a certified biophilic designer. And since then it's becoming my mission. I really want to use biophilic design, my client spaces, to reconnect them with nature and make their life healthier and happier. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you very much. And I suppose we should explain a bit more to people about what biophilic design consists of, because you probably
Yeah.
understand this or can explain this much better than me is, but as far as I understand and as far as the way that I use it, it's really about kind of bringing elements of nature into our home that make us feel more connected with nature. And that can be, either actual physical elements of nature, so plants, etc., wood, all those kind of natural materials, also kind of motifs on patterns of nature basically that you see on wallpaper, for example, or on cushions. So, I mean, I'm assuming that, have I missed anything there? Is there other elements to biophilic design that you feel is important?
You're spot on that. Yes, that's exact what you just said. One thing I want to specify is that some people think that biophilic design is it's a trend, it's a style. That now it's trendy. Lots of people are talking about it. It's like, okay, let's put some plant in and vertical garden, indoor garden, and that's it. I always say biophilic design is not a trend, it's not a style. Biophilic design is an approach and is based on actual research. There's been research and study proving that connecting people with nature improves our cognitive function, improves productivity. It helps with mental health. It helps depressed people with anxiety. There is a lot of research about that. And when it comes to implement biophilic design in interiors, in architecture, it's all about reconnecting people indoor because nowadays we spend more than 90% of our time indoor. So there's been that gap nearly, that break with nature because we always indoor. And what can we do to reestablish that connection that we have as a human being with nature? So it's bringing nature in with plants, with natural element, with natural material like wood, stone, bringing in, as in my case, also color inspired by nature. There is a way of introducing biophilic design directly, which is, as I just said, with plants or other natural element, but in an indirect way is what you talked about, having botanical motifs in your fabrics, your curtain, your cushion, or having painting represent nature in your space. And something else when you design with following the biophilic design approach is to let as much as natural light in. So if you live in a really in a space where there is not much light, is like to reconsider how can we amplify the light. So maybe use mirror strategically to bounce the light back, or as well to expose yourself to a garden, for example. Sometimes where you place your seat is important. Rather than giving your back to your garden, I would recommend maybe turning the sofa or your sitting, the chair towards the garden so that you can actually connect with nature and see nature. Something else in biophilic design important is the quality of air. It's really important. There are some plants, for example, that purify the air from the toxin from our furniture, the paint that we use, the fire retardant. There are lots of things, toxin in our space that we are not aware of. And it's becoming, we talk more and more about this because it's not just that the air outside is polluted, the indoor air is polluted as well, and not many people knows about that.
Yeah.
So something else about the biophilic design approach is to take that into account. So I would consider it as a holistic approach to interiors to make the space healthier. And I say happier as well, because obviously if you feel better in a space, you are happier as well. And I bring in that happiness with bold colors, with colors as well. So I could spend ages talking about this, but you nailed it. It's really the focus is to reconnect people with nature indoor. And then there is so many ways we can do that.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that you start to talk about toxins there because that's like a subject that I cover a lot basically when I speak to clients or when I'm speaking at any kind of workshops or shows, etc. But that's interesting that you've incorporated that into biophilic design, because I always had that a little bit separate, because I think we're starting to look more and more at the materials that we're using basically in interior design. And not only, whether they're off-gassing or whether they are created from kind of plastics basically, but also whether they're actually going to whether they're actually going to be reprocessed well at the end, or whether they're going to be able to be sent into landfill, for example. I had an interview with a lady the other week, basically was talking about her non-toxic mattresses, and you don't think about the fact that when it comes to the end of the life of the mattress, basically they are treated generally as biohazardous waste, because they don't decompose basically. So these are all things that we really need to think about when we're thinking about kind of, biophilic design, I guess. I hadn't kind of put it into that same bucket, but I think definitely when we talk about sustainable design, these are things that we're starting to talk about. But something I know a lot less about is color psychology and color therapy. So I find that really fascinating about
Yeah.
your business, because it touches on. So I was speaking a little bit about feng shui on this show, and it's really interesting, to kind of see the flow of your space, and you placing certain items in places to kind of like increase energetics basically within the space. But color is so important basically for our mood, our emotional well-being, and our mental well-being. So I just would love you, if you wouldn't mind, to speak a bit about how you use that in your business, and or maybe in a projects that you've worked on that you've seen changes in your clients' health and well-being due to the colors that you're using.
Yes. Yes. For me, biophilic design and color psychology are the main tools I use in my design. And again, that comes from personal experience. And I found out that colors have a great effect on your mind. So I always love colors anyway. I'm really, it's my personality really. I love colors when I dress, in my house. I love colors generally speaking. And I did study color psychology a little bit when I trained as interior designer. Then I went and studied a little bit more because it was really fascinating. And color psychology is a theory of how each color affects a person, mood, and behavior, and its cognitive function, its creativity as well. And different people react to color in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start a project, normally I have a long chat with my client, trying to understand their lifestyle, what they want to achieve in the house, and ask as many questions as possible to get to know my client. And where colors comes in is because I ask them, how do you want to feel in this space? What is the space going to be used for? And obviously, I do ask if they have some preference when it comes to color. If they like specific color, normally I ask them to list what color they prefer. And also sometimes, but not always, I observe the way they dress.
Oh, really?
If they love bold colors, if they dress like with neutral color, always in black, I observe that a lot. Although it's not always a sign, because I had the client that she contacted me, an email said, I have a magnolia house. I need help because I want color. That was it. Initially, email. I went there, I met her, and she was all dressed in neutral color, like beige, gray. I said, I started asking her, I said, are you sure you want color? And I found out that she said, I need someone that know how to use color in my house, because I have no idea how to use color. That's why I dress in neutral. That's why my house is magnolia. So some people, and this client particularly, wanted color injected in their house, but she didn't feel confident how to use it. So the first thing is asking client, and again, different people react to color in a different way. Myself, for example, for some reason which I still haven't find out, I don't like brown.
Yeah.
I probably never use brown in my designs for some reason. I love yellow. Something, if you look at my portfolio, there is mustard yellow pretty much in every design. Again, probably because yellow reminds me of the sun. It's a cheerful color, very energetic color. And a specific case where I think color helped my client was someone that was suffering from insomnia. Bedroom with some pale pink. There were a lot of colors that really were bright and they didn't really fit with the atmosphere they wanted to create. So, I need to do something with the color in this room or change the room because I can't sleep well. I suffer from insomnia. I'm trying everything, but still feel uncomfortable in this room. And I suggested dark blue. And even more than that, I suggested to paint everything blue, meaning the walls, the ceiling, the skirting board, the radiator. It was a blue, dark blue box, which even the decorator wasn't agreeing with me. The decorator went like, no, 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 this is going to be claustrophobic. It's going to be awful. I don't recommend it. I said, let me create a visual for you. A lot of people can't visualize the change. So I created 3D, showed the 3D, and she immediately went like, wow, I love this. I already feel more relaxed. I said, do you want to trust me? I said, trust me, because if we said, do you do anything else in the room? Like, do you have like your TV? Do you have your desk there? I said, no, no, no. It's just a space where I sleep. I don't even take my phone there. It's like, good. Okay, just trust me. Let's paint everything dark blue. We used a lot of natural fabric, cotton, a lot of texture in the room to make her feel cozy. So ask how you want to feel. Were you struggling? Mostly she was struggling with the light coming from the window. So we used really thick fabric and with underline for, protector from the light. Then I introduced some patterns with a painting. I introduced some nature with the painting, and since then she said, "Oh my God, the change is amazing because I feel like I'm in a womb, in my mom's womb, like where I feel protected. It's like a cocooning space. It's so relaxing. It's dark and it helps me to relax and to fall asleep quicker." So in that case, the choice of color, it wasn't because of trend. It wasn't because of she liked blue. It was because dark blue really helps your brain to go into that deep state of relaxation.
That's
And then
fascinating.
she could feel like, oh yes, I really go there and I know it's my safe space. I shut the door. I painted even the door dark blue. So
Wow.
it was becoming unified space. So the walls nearly fade, like you felt like the room was much bigger.
So I find it really interesting that, when I focus on kind of the bedroom, I'm always thinking about trying to make it as dark as possible to promote sleep. Obviously, not having technology in the bedroom is a great idea. And as you mentioned, kind of, soft furnishings, but I've never really thought about the color so much. So that's fascinating that it really helped your client sleep. What did they say about the experience?
Yes, what she said is that she was a bit reluctant at the beginning, but then when she walked in this dark bedroom, she instantly felt more relaxed. And that's how and when color affects your behavior, because she said suddenly from that bright room, which wasn't helping with sleeping, I felt like I wanted really to relax and lay on the bed and just look at the ceiling, the dark ceiling, everything dark. I wanted to fall asleep. So the fact that we use dark blue, dark color, we use really thick fabric to prevent the light coming in, and using a lot of fabric that she liked, like velvet, really sensory, like making her feel like relaxed but also cocooned in that space. She said it was amazing the difference that she felt the first night, because she really felt like, I want to go to bed and I want to feel like I'm nearly in a safe space, protected. And the color, it was the big change, because it really helped her to relax and to feel. She said, I didn't need anything else. Like, I really wanted to lay there, shut the door, and sleep.
Mm.
So in that case, color psychology, it had a big impact on her, because she felt like, yes, it make a big difference.
That's fantastic. I'm going to now go and paint my bedroom dark blue.
Yeah, imagine if you just like a test. Imagine like a dark blue bedroom, and imagine like, I don't know, an orange bedroom. Which one would you instantly make you feel more relaxed?
Yeah, true. I mean, funny enough, it's like blue. I wear a lot of blue, but I actually don't personally like it in interiors that much. I don't know why. I think it's because I personally like why my walls to be a bit warmer color. But I never thought about using that in the bedroom because it's true that even from like a thermal temperature kind of point of view, definitely it's always better for the bedroom to be a bit cooler so you can sleep better. And then I guess like looking at dark blue also gives you that feeling of kind of being cooler as well. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's interesting how those kind of two come together actually. But yeah, so apart from like healing insomnia in the bedroom, are there any other ways to use color that you do with your clients quite often? Like, I don't know, maybe to create a feeling of ambiance or like that kind of higher energy kind of feeling that maybe when you're entertaining or maybe when you're in a kind of eating space or maybe helping digestion.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, the first starting point is asking how they're going to use the room,
Hmm.
um, w- the activity in the room. And it's known that, for example, cold colors, like you said, blue, gray can be cold, are not ideal in this in room like a living room or a kitchen. Why? Because of the vibe they send. So normally a kitchen or living room is like for entertaining, for chatting with people, entertaining people. So color affect your behavior. So in rooms where you want to host, for example, I would recommend a warm color. Warm color are more on the spectrum of red, orange, yellow color. Obviously, they don't have to be exactly this color, but the undertone of the color is important as well. If it's
Hmm.
a cool undertone, if it's a warm undertone, there could be blue. They have a cold undertone and blue with a warmer undertone. So the vibe and the atmosphere you create in the room is totally different.
Hmm.
So it's always important to understand how you're going to use the space. Like, for example, I had another client, they transformed their girl's bedroom into a home office. And obviously, in a home office, you want to feel energized, you want to feel um, productive and be alert. So in that case, I wouldn't recommend like really relaxing color in a way, because otherwise you're going to be too much relaxed and not being productive. So what we did, I used color blocking, and they always wanted like a really nice background for video calls. So what we did, we painted the walls in color blocking. So I asked them what color would they want in the room, like, and there was a space used by both alternate, like from the wife and the husband sometimes. So obviously we couldn't go to feminine, we couldn't go to masculine, so we had to compromise. And we used a blue and yellow. So behind that, like people were asking, is there a painting? We just use color blocking. Half of the wall was blue, half of the wall was yellow. And then I put like a central painting with those colors as well. That was kind of bringing the space together. And it was a painting that their son did. And then
Yeah.
we allocated that. It was like, this is perfect. And it brought together a little bit of the masculine side, the feminine side with the yellow, and it created a nice atmosphere, a talking point as well during the video call. Because they were
Yeah.
asking, oh, I love the background. What is that? So it always depends, to go back to your initial question, it always depends how you going to use the space and how you want to feel in the space.
Mm.
Then the color palette will be chosen depending on that.
I think it's such a great idea to have like a mural or something behind you when you're kind of doing all these video calls because like it gets a bit boring otherwise, doesn't it? With the kind of same bland, especially if you're using kind of that white wall behind you. I was going to ask, there's a bit
Yes.
of a school of thought in interiors that you should maybe, depending on the size of the house, I guess, that you should maybe keep all the rooms a similar color, basically to create a bit of continuity. Do you adhere to that kind of psychology or not?
I think that there are no set rules. Yes, generally speaking, in interiors there is this idea that you need to connect the spaces with the same color, but it's really what people like and
Mm,
want. That's for
sure.
me, it's important that you listen to people what they want. So maybe I would suggest to choose one color. There's a sort of a little bit in every room to connect the space, but not necessarily have to be exactly the same color in every room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking about this project I did in England, where we use a lot of color, and every room, depending on how they were using, we use different color, but probably the thread, if you want, in the house, it was blue.
Uh-huh.
So there was a bit of blue with different hues as well, nuances of blue in every room. So that was nearly the thread in every room. But then the main color were
Mm-hmm.
different. So why not?
Great.
I to be fair, I like really energetic spaces and spaces that have loads of colors and uh, I always believe that there is no set rules in interior design. You know, some people think that maximalism, like where there is a lot of pattern, a lot of color, is too much, and
Mm,
that's fair. Other people like really, I don't know, beige houses, and that's okay as well. If it's what make people feel good,
sure.
who am I to say that's wrong?
Yeah.
I mean,
Rules are
yeah,
there
there
to
are
be broken.
general rules, but yeah, exactly. That's a big motto of mine. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, everyone needs to do in their house what they feel reflect the personality and make them feel good.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So we just found out, like totally by accident, that we both live in pretty much the same place when we were in Spain.
yeah,
So
yes,
have you found like, I mean, I know you've only been there like a year, is it, or just under a year, around a year? But
yeah,
have
under
you?
a year, 10 years, 10 months.
Cool. And have you found any difference so far in the kind of colors or that your clients kind of choose there or the colors that you're using basically? Because obviously when we spoke about how it can be quite dark in the UK, especially in the winter, so presumably you're using certain colors that kind of counteract that and try and kind of lift people's well-being. But yeah, what's the difference that you found between Spain and England?
Yeah, you're nearly reading my mind because just before I wanted to touch point on this because um, I think colors change a lot depending on the culture, depending on the weather as well. So the idea of painting a room here dark blue, it wouldn't even cross my mind. Why? Because it's extremely hot. I must admit, this summer, as much as I love hot weather, I was struggling. And the flat I'm living now, everything, all the walls are white. Not my first choice, but I would feel really uncomfortable in this house with a lot of dark color,
Mm,
and that's the effect of the weather. So when you design, you need to consider the architecture first of all. And English houses are more traditional. Are I think they go really well with bold colors, with dark colors, and intense colors because of the architecture, because of the weather. While here, generally speaking, what I've seen is that people prefer white walls or really pastel colors, and then they inject colors with the accessories.
mm-hmm.
So a lot of bold accessories with a vase, the curtains, cushion. Generally speaking, and that was the same in Italy. When I was born and raised in Italy, and pretty everyone had white walls because imagine when it's 40, 45 degrees, white is a color that communicates cleanness, communicates kind of freshness as well, airy, and that's how you want to feel in a hot space.
Mm,
So I think that colors and how to use color are interlinked with where you live as well. like a house. And that was my big mistake I made in my own house in England. It was really dark when we bought the house. We had orange carpet, fake beams, a lot of bricks and brown in the house. And I hated it. I was like, it was north facing, so not getting a lot of light. And I hated every step of it. I was like to my husband, if we buy this house, I'm going to renovate it. And what I did, and I have to admit, big mistake ever, I laid white floor.
Oh, wow.
In the living room, downstairs it was all white floor, and upstairs was like a really light carpet. Big mistake as well. Why? Yes, it did bring in a lot of light, but then although we were walking without shoes, it really stained really quickly. And I found out that the house felt so cold. The white, it was unbearable. I used like white flooring because I want to enhance the natural light. Being north facing was really dark, dull light. Didn't get a lot of sunshine, a lot of warm light, which on the contrary got the kitchen. It was south facing. And that was my first mistake. I said, okay, how do, the floor was there. I couldn't really afford to change it. So I inject color with accessories, with a nice rug, colorful rug, warm colors. In the end, we painted the walls again from white. I chose it was between, and that, in that case, I had to compromise with my husband. He's really neutral person, and I'm bold. So imagine the discussion. So we had to compromise on the color of the walls. But I went for a warm shade of gray. And I put a lot of orange and pops of colors everywhere. And that instantly warmed up the space. So, for example, I would recommend a lot of white in England.
Yeah.
Because it's a color that communicates cold. So I love, in England where you find these houses where they had maybe red walls or burgundy, deep green, deep blue. It makes the house so cozy. So a lot depends on where you're living and the structure, the architecture of the place where you're living. I would consider that as well.
That's fascinating,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, I do see that a lot. And I think sometimes the white helps it stay cooler in the summer and a bit kind of warmer in the winter in Spain. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear your thoughts on the use of color. And you've opened my eyes completely to being able to use color, especially for sleeping and insomnia and things. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because I know we quickly discussed this earlier. I want to hear more about your course, basically. So you're developing a course at the moment. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, actually, I had like the first live session earlier on this morning. I created a course to teach biophilic design, but with my own personal approach to it. Because during my projects, I found out they always use colors, bold colors, and nature, be it plants or natural elements. So I thought, I bet that out there might be other interior designers that love bold colors and nature. So it's an online course made of 5 modules with pre-recorded videos so that people can watch the videos really when they have time. Because let's admit it, we're all busy nowadays and it's difficult to commit to a day and a time. So I've been asked during a survey to have pre-recorded videos. So it's a course to teach biophilic design. So, and how to blend biophilic design, biophilic elements with colors in interiors to create spaces that help people feel better and be happier. Like I talk about biophilic, vibrant sanctuaries because I like the idea of creating spaces that feel like sanctuaries from my client, spaces where they really forget the world outside. They leave, work and everything outdoor. They come in and they feel like, I'm home. I'm finally home, and it's their own sanctuary. So the course, it's all about that, creating spaces that help people enhance their well-being. And as I said, with this, my own approach to it, to biophilic design, blending with colors. Yes.
I love the sound of that. That sounds amazing. And can they find that on your website?
Yes, it's on my website. There is a page about the course and with all the details about the course. And the door have just closed just yesterday, but there is still time if someone wants to jump in, because as I said, there are recorded videos, so they can really pick up at any point. And there will be also some live calls every 2 weeks where what I'm trying to do is really to create a community of bold biophilic designers, a community of designers, but also interiors enthusiasts that believe that nature and color can help people to feel better in their space, and it can be a residential project, can be a commercial space. So I'm trying to create a community. And also, there will be a lot of material, lot of bonuses, including the course with like a list of suppliers, of research, white papers to read. Also, I will have some guests coming in to talk about specific topic, which maybe I'm not an expert, but I know they are relevant to biophilic design. So there will be guest talks as well. It's in developing, it's in progress at the moment. I'm really, really excited. And I had the first call this morning, and I'm so happy that I've got on board people that truly believe that this could be a movement nearly. It's something that is developing and growing so quickly in architecture, in interiors, that I think it's really the right time to build a community. And I hope I can help to this community to grow. That's my mission, really.
No, it sounds amazing. And I couldn't agree more. I think you're right when you said at the beginning that it's not really a trend. I mean,
No.
I'm starting to see that a lot more in kind of my work. And as you say, I speak to a lot of architects who are incorporating biophilia into all their work at the moment. And yeah, we need to really kind of understand better how we're so interconnected with nature, and how, healing our planet and healing ourselves really is all part of the same
Exactly.
project, so should we say. But thank you so much for your time today. It was super interesting to hear all about color therapy and biophilic design, but especially for me, color therapy, because it's just something that I wasn't as aware of. Hopefully our paths will cross in Spain. I'm really looking forward to kind of catching up with you there. That would be great. And yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I'd
you.
love that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, I'd love to, I'm glad that you discovered something new today. And yes, I was really happy to be part of the podcast, and I hope to meet you in person at some point.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That would be great. And hopefully next time I won't have some building work going on downstairs that's interrupting our podcast, which is a bit annoying. Sorry about that. But thank you.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely
thank you so
fine.
much for your time today. It's really great. And yeah, hopefully see you in Spain side, and we'll catch up maybe
Yes.
kind of like there. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.